It is tapped, people. What's up? Welcome to the Hop with Gabe and Steven. I'm Steven Humes. That's Gabriel Aprio right over there.
Hello. Hello.
Oktoberfest. At last. It has come. It is here. It's the best time of the year to drink beer.
Amen. Big ass tents. If you know the festivities, if you've been to the real Oktoberfest and you know Europe and you know the big ass tents, you know it's our annual episode. We got some Oktoberfest beers. We got 4 beers this round. We are very excited. Don your Lederhosen and Prost.
Don your Lederhosen, don your dirndls, grab a pretzel and a beer and saddle up, ladies and gents, because this is going to be a big one. 4 beers, 4 breweries. News and notes, lots to talk about. A fun topic that might set the record for best last call we've ever laid down. Just throwing it out there.
It might shatter the record. I mean, I invite someone after this episode at the end of it to find a fun topic that'll be better. We're already hyping it up too much. Anywho, thank you for joining us on this wonderful Thirsty Thursday. Happy Oktoberfest. We hope you're drinking steins right now, whenever you're listening to us.
We are at the HO Podcast on Instagram, Twitter. If you want to give us a follow, Gabe is at Gaberade67. I'm at Shakespeareist. Check us out, and also check us out on YouTube. You can see what Oktoberfest looks like in real life, right behind me here. So give us a look. We're adorable. Should we?
We sure are, mother effers.
Should we dive right into this?
Please, I need a beer.
Beer news.
Highlights. Okay, Dogfish Head is closing their taproom in Miami after 2 years of operation or something along those lines. You know, I'm not giving them the music because they're based in Delaware. They're doing fine, but
they're fine. They don't need our sympathy. They're good.
That Miami taproom is coming to a close. Ball Corporation. They have a few things going on. First of all, they sold their business in Russia. So they're getting out of Russia, which, solid time to do that. I'd say good choice.
Better late than never.
That's good for them. But they also are backing down on maybe backing down on. They had set at like a minimum of like 5 truckloads per SKU, which was it's technical and not something we normally cover. But it did make it hard for small breweries, so they might be backing down on that, which is kind of good. And then union workers at a Molson Coors facility in Milwaukee are picketing. They were picketing last week. They're threatening to strike because they don't have a contract in place or something like that. So hopefully that gets resolved. Otherwise, Molson Coors is going to have some employees walking out. And really, this just gives me an excuse to play this drop. So
stay thirsty, my friends.
That's the only reason I want to talk about it.
You know, pay your employees, get your employees a contract. They're working their asses off, especially if they're pouring your beer. Treat them right.
That's right.
Snowballing off of that, staying in Milwaukee, Pilot Project is buying Milwaukee Brewing Company. So this Chicago-based Pilot Project has emerged as the buyer in their facility. Pilot Project is basically an aid, if you will. Co-founders Dan and Jordan and head brewer Glenn used funds from an $8 million seed round to purchase the 60,000 square foot approximate commercial brewing facility. It's in their Chicago-based investment group, InvestBev, led the round of fundraising following a 2019 Friends and Family fundraiser of $500,000. That's excellent. So as I mentioned, Pilot Project, they assist startup breweries with recipes, production scaling, business development, marketing, yada, yada, yada. They are responsible for helping out a lot of brands. Women-funded Luna Bay Hard Kombucha, ROVM Hard Kombucha, Black-owned Funky Town Brewing, which we featured on round 114. And Brewer's Kitchen and Azadi Brewing. So they're helpful in that regard. They're The company said its expansion to the Milwaukee facility would further the growth potential for Pilot Project's incubated brands. It's like an incubator type deal. It's really, really cool and helps support their national growth beyond the Midwest and beyond. So good for Pilot Project. They're buying Milwaukee.
They're buying the whole city of Milwaukee.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, that's great for them. Pilot Project, like you said, it helps smaller operations get off the ground. So this gives them more, ability to do that in terms of having a larger facility and having more reach into a different market. So that's cool. Let's take a trip down to the Southeast, shall we? There was a major merger there last week. A group called Made by the Water, which is a portfolio company. They basically are the parent company of a bunch of different craft beer brands. They merged with a brewery, New Orleans-based brewing company called Thauberg Brewing Company. So these two things have come together. So Made by the Water is this portfolio company that is the parent company of Catawba Brewing out of Asheville, North Carolina.
Catawba!
Oyster City out of a place in Florida that I can't pronounce. And Palmetto Brewing out of South Carolina. So they are already in the portfolio. Thauberg is merging with this company, and the plan is, quote, to be one of the largest craft beer producers in the United States. So more details to come in the future. I'm not familiar with most of those breweries nor this company, but because of this merger and that stated mission, maybe we will become more familiar with them going forward. So it's going to be kind of a situation like with Six Point and a bunch of other ones in that world. They're all part of this sort of conglomerate. And then when you see the beer advocate lists of like the largest breweries in the United States, things like that, or things like Boston Beer Company, which includes Dogfish Head, but also includes Sam Adams, stuff like that. They make the list because they have a bunch of smaller breweries within their big brewing.
It's the umbrella effect.
Yes. So there's a new one in the Southeast, or one that just got bigger in the Southeast with this merger. It's a big deal. The beer industry is all over it, and maybe we'll get to try their beers in the future. That would be fun.
Catawba.
Catawba.
That just sounds epic. It sounds like a fighting move. Okay. Rounding out the news and notes, Old 121 Brew House is announcing an ownership change. They're changing ownerships with the sale of the business from Carla and Brett Zarte to Katie and Sam Nicholson. So, you know what?
Sure. Welcome in, Katie and Sam.
It's nice to know that someone has money. Anyway, the sale of the business was made final on September 15th. The ownership change already has taken effect. Sam and Katie have a long history with Old 121 Brew House. Apparently, they are regulars, and they were one of the first group of people to actually visit. So not only were they interested, they knew what was going on from the jump. And that's one of the reasons why the owners decided to sell. There's a quote by them. It was a tough decision to step away, but it was the easiest choice ever to bring Katie and Sam in since they were some of the first people through our doors. They love this community and Old 121 like we do. They don't have any plans to change the name. They're not changing the way they do things. They're keeping all of the original core beers on tap. There we go. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. The brewery's focus on approachability and sessionable beers will continue the goal of growing the business while staying true to the following that the brewery has built. Well done. We love to see it. They're partnering with local organizations like the Action Center. So if you can get your hands on Old 121 Brew House, I believe it's out of Lakewood, Colorado. So for those of you in good old CO, heads up, look out for it. Let us know how the beer is.
We report on breweries closing and shutting down so much that we love to hear any positive news from a brewery. This isn't a new brewery, but it's getting new life. So
new life.
That's fun. Once again,
let's hear that German accent.
The responsibility of an Oktoberfest toast has fallen to me. I decided not to try and speak German this year.
Damn it.
It was a little rough last year. I've recently discovered that there's sort of a dark side to Oktoberfest. You think of it as pretzels and beer and smiles, but it's, a lot of drunk people in one place. So I'd like to read a story now that I found on Reddit from one dude who attended. He said, my friends got so drunk and that they ditched me. One tried to wander home, went the wrong direction. It wasn't until he crossed a river that he realized he was going the wrong way. Our hotel was 2 blocks away, but he ended up walking 2 miles. My other buddy was walking back and went down to tie his shoe. There he passed out. He woke up to a cop kicking him to make sure he was okay. I got back to my hotel around 7 p.m. and I found all my friends passed out. He said the crazy things I saw at Oktoberfest include a dude doing coke off his girlfriend's boobs. Oh, I forgot to mention this is a little NSFW toast. I should have said that earlier.
Love it.
A dude doing coke off his girlfriend's boobs. Good for you, sir. A guy singing and dancing, then completely passing out and falling straight back on a table. The paramedics were called in, and the small area where the incident happened was cleared out. But the party kept going, and you know it did. And, you know, this toast is a dedication to this man, to the dude who was doing illicit drugs off his girlfriend's body, to the dude passed out on the table, and to everyone in between. This is to the dark side of Oktoberfest, and we're drinking to that. So you know what? Prost ihr Sack, which I will remind you means cheers, you ball sacks.
Prost your sack, am I right? Yeah, Stephen shared some darker sides of the annual event, and
oh yeah,
I mean, I don't know why I was surprised. It's a bunch of drunk people and they drink like freaking fish. So you'd think. I saw a video of a guy, he slid across the table, knocked over all the glassware.
Oh my god, all the glasses. I know.
Yeah, and then when he stood up, he was in a dress. It was like a whole thing. It was like, good for you, so he could barely walk straight.
Yeah, you don't think about the practical side of putting a bunch of people into a giant festival and just letting them get hammered. But yeah, it's definitely not a spot to bring the kids. This isn't your country fair. Okay?
No ribbons are being handed out at this one. Wow. We should go to Oktoberfest. Anywho.
You really need to go to Oktoberfest. All right. With that, I have a giant beer stein calling my name. Let's get drinking.
Look at that thing. That thing, you could knock someone out with that.
It's here. It's beautiful. This is my beer stein. If you're not on YouTube, get on it. It's huge. This is a real stein, the kind they serve beer in at Oktoberfest.
Because of the green screen, put your hand on the very, very top.
Yeah.
That's how big that thing is.
Yeah, if you go on YouTube and take a look, this glass, I would say, is about half full. And to be clear, I poured 2 beers into this because I was trying to get it fuller, and it's still only half full. So that's how much beer you're getting when you get a beer at Oktoberfest.
Oh, my God.
So I'll kick things off here. My first beer is American. It's Karl Strauss Brewing's Oktoberfest. Just if you're unfamiliar, Oktoberfest is a giant festival that happens in Munich. We'll get into that in a little bit, but basically there are 6 breweries. The beer has to be brewed in Munich in order to be poured at Oktoberfest. There are 6 breweries in Munich. Of the 6, 4 of them have been on our show, and 2 of them are very hard to find. So our options are becoming a little limited, but in order to be served at Oktoberfest, it needs to be brewed in Munich, and it needs to be one of 2 different beer styles. There is the Festbier, which is, they're both lagers, but the Festbier is typically a little bit lower ABV, and I'll get into the differences between them a little bit more later. But then there's a Märzen. That's what this is. This is a Märzen-style lager. It's 5% ABV. The IBUs are at 20. Beer Advocate has it at 80. Untapped, 3.58. And on the SRM chart, here's my glass again. It is around a 15. It's very amber. It's very, looks toasted. Good. Yeah, toasted malt, not roasted, not very dark, but there it is. It's got Hallertau and Pearl hops in there, very German hop bill. The malt is Vienna malt, Munich malt, Carahel, Pale 2-Row, and Caramel 60.
I would argue that all, if not most of these beers that's the the recipe, if you will, for all these beers. Those type of hops, Hallertau, the type of malt, Vienna malt, it's all German based. It's all German beers. We are German today.
Prost. From the brewery, we brew this lager in tribute to the world's biggest beer party. Vienna and Munich malts produce the deep golden color, nutty undertones, and toasted malt flavors characteristic of this renowned Bavarian beer style. Pearl hops imported directly from the Hallertau region of Germany yield a smooth, balanced finish. This year's batch of Oktoberfest has arrived, and it tastes like we're in for quite the celebration. Yes, we are. I'm going to smell it now.
I remember when you got that Stein. I have yet to get a Stein that big, and I really want Das Boot. I drank coffee out of a smaller glass boot this morning, but I would love a giant beer style. What's that movie? Beer Games, Beer.
The Hangover? I'm not sure.
No, it's a movie all about basically at the end of it they have a boot. Das Boot beer chugging competition. And so in order to not get the bubble to push it, you have to turn it a certain way. And
sure, I'm
going to find that movie.
You
How
work
does it
on
smell?
that.
How does it smell?
Yeah, it smells great. It smells like a lager. It is so the malts are the first thing you're going to smell when you smell something like this. You're going to get those caramel notes. You're going to get it's a little nutty, a little bit of walnut or something like that. It's got an earthy tone to it, some grass and hay, a little bit of corn, and then I always find on beers like this there's something a little bit fruity about it. Now, it's not the fruitiness that we associate with a very hoppy beer like citrus. It's more like a subtle tone of maybe some apple or maybe some pear a little bit. It's a very subtle thing, but there is a sweetness to it that I like. It's not just all corn and caramel and malt, but that is definitely the star of the show. You've got, like I said, your corn in there. You've got your straw and your hay. It's a little woody. It's a little bit, again, nutty, and it's got a sweetness that's reminiscent of caramel or agave. There's something a little bit vegetal about it as well.
Wow, interesting. Agave.
Maybe. I mean, not terribly. It's not like you're drinking a margarita or something, but there's a earthy quality to it. It's not just nuts. It's not just roasted. Again, the malts are toasted, so they have you cook popcorn a little bit too long, but it's not burned. There's a little toast to it, which is nice.
It's a little seasoned.
Yeah. All right, let me dive into it. It's very hard to manage this glass.
Yeah, I don't even know what you do.
It's very heavy.
That's literally a workout. You can literally arm curl that if you wanted to. Also, found the movie Beer Fest.
Oh, well.
It's like a competition type deal, and at the end they drink out of boots, and I want a boot to drink out of. Not my boots that I wear. They probably smell. How's that beer, Stephen?
Really good. It's very malty, everything that you'd expect. I find that it's a little bit lighter and sweeter than some Märzens. It's the mouthfeel is very bready. It's pretty crisp though. It drinks a lot like a Pilsner, which makes sense. It is a German lager, but it's not as light as a Pilsner, but it does have a little bit of that corn or straw quality that I associate more with a Pilsner than with a Märzen. So it's a little bit less caramel than some of these can be, but it's very nutty and very earthy and very drinkable. It leaves the mouth crisp, clean. Like I said, this is, I didn't show this before, but this is the bottle it came out of, here in America.
Yeah, the classic.
Yeah, blue banners, sort of what you would see at Oktoberfest. But it's very biscuity and very crisp and drinkable and kind of lighter than I would expect some of these to be. Like I said, the Fest beers are the lower ABV ones, and the Märzens are the higher ABV ones. They were brewed to have a little bit higher ABV, and the history of that basically goes back to that it was supposed to last longer because this festival goes back to like centuries and centuries ago. So the idea of brewing a Märzen was like you couldn't brew all summer because it was so hot. Right. So the Märzen would be brewed in like the spring and then it would last longer, or something like that. Not a historian.
Science.
Right. But so 5% is a little bit lighter than some of these tend to be, but that's good because I'm just going to slam this giant stein that I poured here.
Okay. Go ahead. 3, 2, 1. Drink the rest of it.
No, if you stand on a table, at Oktoberfest, you will have to slam a beer.
That's that tradition. If you stand on a table, I think they hit the table or something.
If you stand on it, someone can challenge you to like chug it, and then you have to do it. And it's not a half. It's not a half of one of these. It's a whole one. It's overflowing.
So that's got to be what, 4 beers then? 3.5?
Yeah, it's probably it's a liter. So whatever that is, we're American. We don't know your metric systems.
We don't get it. My turn. Pass the torch.
Yes, do it up.
I've got it's more of a beer mug, not really a stein, but I've got the classic beer emoji. But I am drinking Victory Brewing's Oktoberfest. I was looking around for Oktoberfest beers. I said, let's take a trip back to Victory Lane. We featured them on round 21. They have awesome, dope beers. The Monkeys, that's their thing, but they're getting into the Oktoberfest game. I've got they have a Festbier, but it says Märzen style lager. So it's a little contradictory.
That's confusing.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's their Festbier because it says it, but maybe the marketing person got fired that day. I don't know. 5.6%, 20 IBUs. Beer Advocate gave it an 83. Untapped gave it a 3.48. Here it is again in the glass for you YouTubers. Dark orangey brown. Maybe like yours was a little darker than mine. You gave yours a 15, so this has got to be like a 13-ish.
Yeah, probably around there. It's in the same category, though. Maybe it is a Märzen. I mean, I feel like these terms get lost in translation a little bit. And to be honest, when you look at a fest beer, they're typically lighter in color than the Märzens. The Märzens are typically darker, so it's confusing because yours has both on the bottle, but maybe it's a Märzen. Yeah. I mean, the ABV and the color are very similar.
Very similar, but apparently it's very good. From the brewery... Friendship and camaraderie, the 2 keys to any festive event. And there's the beer. It should be full-bodied, yet infinitely smooth, seductively malty, with a kiss of hops for balance. This is our fest beer. Okay, painstakingly crafted from German malts, decoction brewed for full flavor, and carefully aged for depth of character. Gather with your friends for a festive moment of victory. Hops, whole flower German hops. The malts are imported two-row Vienna and Munich German malt. Let us get into it.
So, Victory. So again, another American brewery, and Victory was on our show. We don't on these big episodes. If you're new in town, welcome to the hop.
Hey.
But on these fun event episodes, we don't get as much into the breweries that we're doing. But if you're interested in Victory Brewing, you can visit them on round 21 of the hop when we were podcasting babies, and we did a whole episode on them. You can learn all about Victory. Karl Strauss, their episode is to come, but like I said, we're running out of traditional Munich breweries to do on the show, so we're going with America today.
Help us. Okay, it's sweet smelling, malty. It's got some earthy tones to it, but it's more on the malty side. Caramel, sweetness, toffee, toasted grains, maybe like wheat bread or something. But here's the kicker. And if you thought what I said earlier didn't make sense, this is really not going to make sense. I read reviews that said it smelled and tasted like this. And I thought, how the hell could that be? But it's got a check mark on the smell so far. Chocolate. It's got a chocolatey smell to it. It's weird. It doesn't make any sense. But here we are. It's a good beer. It's not bad or anything. But I think just the mix of flavor and malt and hop and preparedness, maybe it kind of gives it that's the concoction it makes. I don't really know. But it's very, very hidden, but it's there. So I'm interested to see if it's on the taste. Prost.
So just to go into what I was talking about a little more, if you look up, on any website such as the BJCP, or you can look at Porch Drinking, which is a good website for this stuff, Beer Connoisseur. Fest beers are less malty, less intense, and lighter in body than Märzens, which the Märzen came first, the Festbier came later, but the Festbier is just a lighter beer. It looks more like a Pilsner. It's typically like yellow, golden, color. It's less rich. It's less heavy. It's just a lighter drinking beer. And the Märzens tend to be a little bit heavier. So honestly, I sometimes see them with alcohol content up to like 6. They're not crazy high regardless, but the Festbiers can be around 4.5. This Märzen is 5. Yours is 5.6. Yeah. So they just tend to be a little bit higher, but they're definitely characterized for sure by the color. If you go to Oktoberfest, you will see 2 colors of beers coming out. You will see gold and amber, and we're drinking the dark amber wooden colored beers right now. So I'm just going to say it. We're both drinking Märzens, okay? Victory can call it whatever they want. It's a Märzen. Go ahead. It's
a Märzen. And also, there's another description on the bottle, and it says this Märzen-style lager. Then why are you calling it your fest beer?
Things get confusing.
Doesn't matter. Okay, so caramel, toasted malts, not roasted like you said, kind of just going off of what you said. However, mine, the carbonation is there. I wish it was a little stronger. It's easy going down. It might be a little too easy going down. I feel like it's just like so easy to drink. And, 5.6, it's not that high. But at the same time, you want to... I assume like Oktoberfest beers are just meant for drinking quickly and a lot. So that kind of was like, oh, this is, it's just different in a way, but I do enjoy it. The flavor is there. Not really getting any chocolate off the taste, which I'm kind of happy about, to be completely honest with you. But It is on the smell just a hint, which is very interesting. It feels medium to full bodied. The back end is quite nice. It's quite sweet. Caramel, toffee, that range. It has that malt backbone, but the malt backbone is very... what's the word? It's helpful in a way. It's not overpowering. It doesn't steal the spotlight. It provides support through the rest of the flavors. And that I always have an appreciation for. Is it the best Oktoberfest beer I've ever had? To be honest, no. But this will work. This will work for like the pregame. Like you're going to Oktoberfest, you're going to be drinking Oktoberfest beers all day, and your friends are coming over and you want to start early. Why not? Grab a Victory Oktoberfest and slam her down. That way you can go in style. And now that I say it out loud, I don't even think it's safe to pregame at Oktoberfest.
I was just going to say a lot of those articles I was talking about earlier about the dark side of Oktoberfest, one of the main things they said was like, don't pregame this shit. Just don't do it.
Okay. So then this will pregame an October football game.
You do you. I mean, you paid money. You're in Germany. Like, live it up. What do you have to lose? I mean, other than your dignity.
Your dignity, your wallet, your keys, your self-image.
Fair. I take it back.
Let's see. Yeah, Oktoberfest can get wild, and I wish we could go. We say it every year. And that's
we're working on it. We're working on it.
Thoughts.
It's in process, and by that I mean I've been thinking about it. But yeah, if you can go. It looks awesome.
Yeah,
and
to be in one of those tents and to be just surrounded by the camaraderie, the people, everyone, you can get a little wasted if you want, but everyone is there to enjoy, have a good time, smile. Everyone there is so happy. How could you not be?
So we have 2 more beers to get to sitting here, but before we do that, let's talk a little bit about what Oktoberfest is, just for the plebes who don't know anything about it.
Just for the people who want a bird's eye view of what the hell we're talking about.
Exactly. So Oktoberfest is this big festival that takes place every year on the largest fairground in Munich. It is basically a place where there's a bunch of tents and people drink beer and they serve it to you in giant steins, and people wear Lederhosen and Dirndls are what they're called, what the women wear, and it takes place basically 16 to 18 days at the end of September into October. The exact dates vary year to year, but the first Oktoberfest ever was in 1810. It was a wedding for some Bavarian prince. He was marrying some princess lady, and they got married and had like the most amazing wedding of all time. And it went for like 5 days. It went from like October 12th to October 17th, which is intense. I'm going to a wedding in a few weeks, and it's just one day, and it's stressing me out that one day.
And you're just a guest. You're not even in the party.
Right. I'm not even involved. I just have to be there. I can't wait to watch.
Imagine being a best man or officiating a wedding.
I can imagine. If my friends are listening, I can't wait to watch you guys get married. I very much look forward to your nuptials. It's going to be a beautiful day. But can you imagine if it was going on for 5 days and ended in a horse race? Imagine.
That'd be amazing. Are you kidding me? You put other weddings to shame.
What happens nowadays is each of those Munich breweries, they erect what they call a tent. It's a temporary structure. But if you're on YouTube and you're looking at what's behind me, I would call it a beer hall. I mean, it's very far from a tent. It's a big thing. But some of them have seating capacities up to like 6,000. The mayor of Munich taps the first keg. He says the sacred words that I said at the beginning. Ovzapt tis, I think. Something like that. And then they
there are
drinking.
tents. There are 17 large tents and 21 small tents. Obviously, as we mentioned, there's the 6 OG breweries that serve all the beer. But if you can't get into the one more popular ones, there's a bunch of other tents you can go to. Food, rides. They have attractions. They have swings. They have a carousel. They have a cult ride. They have, roller coasters. It's not just let's go drink beer. It's a party, man. It's a party. Yeah. Still don't bring the kids, but it's a party.
Let's take a bunch of hammered people that haven't drank water or eaten food for like 8 hours and put them on a roller coaster. What could humanly go wrong?
Puke City. That would be terrible.
Yeah.
Bring an umbrella.
That's what happens, and it's great. And again, only the 6 Munich breweries are allowed to brew the beer that's served there, and it's Festbiers and Märzens. You're not drinking IPAs there. You're not drinking anything else there. It's just Festbiers and Märzens. But the breweries that pour beer there do brew beers that aren't Festbiers and Märzens. They brew some Berliner Weisses. They brew some Pilsners, and the beer that I'm about to drink right now. So there's other options, but the ones they serve at Oktoberfest, Festbiers and Märzens.
Yeah.
I guess with that, I should just drink my next beer, huh?
Might as well. You said it. You teed it up perfectly.
I teased it. So here's what happened. I felt wrong about having an Oktoberfest episode with none of these breweries featured. And as such, Paulaner, welcome back to the hop. Now, Paulaner Brewing, or Paulaner München, as it is on their
München.
We had their fest beer on our show 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. So that was round 39, if you want to go back and give that a listen. But what I grabbed at this year is something called their Salvator. This is a Doppelbock, or a Doppelbock, if you want to say it in German. It's not a traditional Oktoberfest beer, but it is an Oktoberfest brewery. Therefore, it counts. It's 7.9% ABV. IBUs are at 28. Beer Advocate has it at 88. Untapped has it at 3.6. The brewery refers to this as both their most traditional and their strongest beer. They also say that it's the first beer they ever brewed. And I'll just read the description. They say, our brewing history begins with this beer and the history of strong beer in Bavaria. It was the Paulaner monks who invented this bottom fermenting Doppelbock. We have been brewing the Salvator for over 375 years, always according to the original recipe, which has been continuously refined over the years. The head is the color of caramel and the beer is chestnut brown, combined with a seductive flavor of chocolate to give a pleasing intensity on the palate. Along with this comes the finest Munich malt, rounded off by a light note of hops in the background, often imitated, but never duplicated, the father of all Doppelbock beers whose names always end in "ater." Sure.
Why not? Sounds epic. I hope it holds up.
It's a different offering from Paulaner, and if you look at their website, it's definitely their strongest beer, and it's definitely, you know me. I saw it, and I was like, well, that could be a fun time.
We're in it now. Yeah.
Here it is in the glass SRM chart. It's around 21 to 23. It's darker than the Märzen I was drinking before. It's also hazier than the Märzen I was drinking before. It's definitely, I wouldn't even call it amber. I would call it reddish brown, dark. It poured with about a half a thumbnail of foam or head. It was beige, tan color. Did not retain very well. It's kind of receded into nothing, and there's not much lacing going on either. But a Doppelbock is just a style we don't have much on the show. So
that's true.
I was excited to grab it for that.
Nice.
That reason.
Yeah, why not?
So the hops in here are Hallertau or Hallertauer tradition, as they describe it, and Hercules. Hercules.
Oh, you bastard! You beat me to it.
The malts are Pilsner and Munich, and now I will smell the beer.
The father of all strong beers, as the brewery likes to call it. This sounds epic. I feel like this is an event beer, as we like to call them. It requires appreciation. It requires focus. It requires drinking. It requires maybe water on the side. I don't know. You tell me, Stephen.
Yeah, this is fun. This is a style that I like a lot, and we don't get to have very often because it's malty but boozy. So these things come together and they do something really nice. So there's the woodiness of the malt, the earthiness of the malt, but there's definitely a fruitiness to it. It's a dark fruit. It's a fig. It's like dark cherry. It's got some very dark sort of sweetness to it, and it smells complex. It smells, the caramel is there, but also there's like brown sugar and other things of that nature, or burnt sugar even, and some like honey or something vegetal or floral about it. Maybe a little bit of like lavender. Honey is probably a better way to go.
Nice,
but it's this nice balance of like all the malt stuff that we love on, for instance, the Märzens we were drinking, combined with a dark fruitiness that I tend to associate with more like barrel-aged dark beers. Not stouts, but like barrel-aged, like something you would get at, say, Firestone Walker.
Yeah.
The Hops White Whale. But it's really complex and good and a different, you don't want this in a giant beer stein like that. You smell it and you're like,
you'll pass out, you'll die.
Yeah.
It'll be a whole thing.
All right, here we go. I'm going to drink it.
Very excited for you. I want a pretzel so badly now. It hurts.
You know what's funny? This beer makes me not want a pretzel at all. I feel like I'm not in Oktoberfest anymore. I'm somewhere else.
Oh,
I left the party.
Interesting.
I went behind the tent and I took a break, and I'm having but it's really good. It's definitely like sweet in the mouth, but it's not as sweet as the nose. The dark fruits come forward. The caramel is there. The toasted malts are there. The first thing that hits you is the sweetness. So it's dark fruit. It's like fig or plum or cherry, something almost jam-like, but not that sweet, but sort of like there's a sweetness to it. Slightly syrupy, but not in an off-putting way. And then that balances out with the malt and it's almost like licorice or something like that, or molasses. It's like this interesting blend of like dark malt mixed with sweet, and it just sort of seesaws back and forth, and it's really fun and different. Just not, again, I keep saying it, but not something we have very much here. There's an earthiness to it for sure. It's a little bit bitter, not much. The chocolate thing, sure. I can see where that comes from. I don't think I get a lot of chocolate. It doesn't taste like a stout or anything.
Right.
But I can see where that is sort of in the back end. There's like a lingering bitterness.
It's weird, right?
Yeah. It's definitely weird for you. For a Märzen, it's very weird. For this, it's true to the style, but I see where it comes from. I don't know if I would call it chocolate necessarily, but I see how someone could make that leap.
Yeah. And I didn't, on my first beer, I didn't even have it on the taste. It was just the smell, and I was like, ooh. But it's just that sweetness. But yeah, that's dope.
And as far as the mouthfeel, it's smooth, it's slick, it's a little bit dangerous. The booziness is not in your face.
Yeah.
It's like full-bodied, maybe heavier side of medium-bodied, but it's definitely something different. I mean, again, not an Oktoberfest beer. I know that, we know that, we get it. I just wanted to have a Munich brewery on the show, and this caught my eyeballs.
Yeah, we need to give it up for the OGs. They're the originals, and they do it so well every single year. So good for them.
Yeah, so it's a nice change of pace. But I mean, you don't want this at Oktoberfest. This is just too intense for that. But in terms of a beer on its own, it's great. And again, the Doppelbock is sort of a slept-on style. I think people see it and they don't even really know what it is, but it's a stronger, I mean, it means double bock, and it's good. It's like nice high ABV mixed with maltiness. What could go wrong?
That's all I need to hear. You had me at double bock.
Exactly. It's like an imperial red ale, but just a little bit, it's like a cousin of that. And we love those. So, this is great. Not Oktoberfest, but great.
They showed up to the barbecue regardless.
Exactly. Or the tent, as it were.
The tent. All right. Tag me in. Here I go. I'm going back to America because, well, that's what I got. Get over it. I've got the classic Trogues Oktoberfest lager. They are putting their hat in the ring. We love Trogues. I've been to Trogues. Holy crap, go see this brewery. Is so much fun. They have amazing food and beer and food, but no, they're really amazing. They have a dope space, and I figured we haven't hung out with Trogues in a while. They've been on a few episodes here and there, but if you want their main one, it's episode 109. Round 109 is where we featured them, and I'm excited to feature their Oktoberfest lager, 6.1%. No IBUs to speak of. Beer Advocate gave it an 89. Untapped gave it a 3.86. Here it is in the glass. It's very similar to the first one I have. I gotta be honest, they look like brothers. I don't really see a difference in color. Do you, Stephen?
No, not really. I mean, Trogues maybe slightly lighter just because it's fuller in the glass, but no, it's
maybe
definitely a Märzen. I was gonna say, not only are you staying in America, you went all Pennsylvania this time around.
I did. I didn't realize that until we started recording. I was like, oh yeah, I'm just in one state. I didn't even mean to do that. It just kind of happened.
But Trogues, I mean, you mentioned it, but Trogues might be fighting with White Lion for most appearances on the hop because they have been around. Mostly because their Christmas beers are fantastic. But this, I think, is the 4th episode that they've been on. So
White Lion, watch out. Y'all need to compete, so hang in there.
Oh, bringing him back.
Quote from the brewery: "Our take on this timeless German style starts with a traditional brewing technique called decoction, creating a bright, dry maltiness. A kettle addition of Hallertau tradition hops adds subtle floral and herbal undercurrents to this toasty, sweet fest lager. Einzweigesufa." Our recipe for this beer dates all the way back to the 4th beer ever brewed, Bavarian Lager. It's one of our simplest recipes and only uses 2 types of malts. Those malts are... Well, I don't have the malts, but I have the grain, which is Pilsner and Munich, and the yeast is House Lager.
That is the malt, Pilsner and Munich malt.
Just read, Gabe. It starts with a base of Pilsner malt, then we add a touch of Munich to impart a bready flavor. And I am going to give it a little sniff-see.
Yeah, so... as I mentioned, we don't really go into the breweries that much, but we've talked about it a little bit. Victory, round 21. Troegs, round 109. Paulaner, round 39. Check out all of those. Karl Strauss. They're based in San Diego, and their brewery is a common. This is their first appearance, but they will get theirs.
Honorable mention.
Yeah.
Okay, it is malty. It smells like hay. It's got a little bit of the caramel sweetness. It's got a little bit of that florality that you were talking about with your last beer. And I was so happy you said that because I knew for this one, just based off of the reviews I read, it was all about florality, earthy, floral. So here we go. I don't know if I can place the florality yet, like lavender or what have you. It's just got like that earthy flower type smell to it. a little spicy. Maybe, when you get the spices off like a Belgian style,
coriander,
that
kind
makes
of
sense.
stuff.
I feel like I'm smelling cinnamon, but that could be just me. That could be wrong. It's definitely got coriander in it, and that kind of deal. But yeah, it smells surprising. That's the word I'm going to use, and I'm going to drink it. So, cheers.
Cheers. Yeah. Yeah, we usually try to represent with a fest beer. They are harder to come by, though. I mean, I think when you see Oktoberfest beers, they tend to be Märzens in America. If you're going German, you got to look at the verbiage on the bottles. But if you're going American, as we proved with one of the breweries today, they often get conflated. So, you're a listener of the Pop. You should know better. You do your research. But fest beers are definitely harder to come by, I find. I think if you just see a generic Oktoberfest, it's usually a Märzen, because that's what Americans think of in their heads.
If you really want to be an MVP of the hop, go to the Paulaner website and try reading it, because it's all in German. Okay. So this beer is definitely on the Märzen side. Obviously, the color, the context, all that goodness going on. They describe it as a lager. This one's fun. This is kind of what I was looking forward to Oktoberfest-wise. Caramel sweetness, but it's like the malty backbone is solid and supportive. Fresh baked bread. I'm still getting that florality. I still can't really place it. I guess it's just flowery, earthy. Earthy can mean many different things. In this sense, lighter, flower sort of deal. I'm getting a little bit of like granny apple, which gives that kind of flavor and sweetness to it, which makes it even more appealing. The carbonation is outstanding. It's very, very just like medium solid, just exactly what you need without going too much or too little. It's like hits it perfectly. I would say maybe a little bit of like pumpernickel, rye, that sort of thing, bready in a way, but the hay is off the smell and taste, and it's got the hints of sweetness that make it interesting without putting it over in any sort of direction, too much, too little, what have you. I think it's really outstanding. I would think I would be able to drink this at Oktoberfest. I don't think, obviously, there's no replacing the OGs, but this would be a nice offering in the tent with the stein and everything. It's 6.1, so big stein of this might make you a little loopy, but it will make you feel good, and I really like it. I liked the victory, but if I had to pick one, Trogues takes it.
And just for any other people like me that aren't familiar with the metric system, 1 liter of beer is about 33 ounces and some change. 1 bottle like this is about 12 ounces. So, you're talking, like we said, it's about 4 of these. So if you're drinking one of these old steins, first of all, it probably costs a pretty penny. I would like to know in American US dollars, what does this cost to buy? Yeah. And second of all, it's gonna hit.
Godspeed, honestly. Yeah. It sounds fun. It looks fun. Maybe drink a water when you're halfway there. I don't know. I don't want to be that guy. But
maybe bring a Camelback. You remember those with the backpacks with water in them?
The little tube. Yeah. Sebastian Maniscalco has a great joke about that. But you need to hydrate, because especially if you're out and it's hot. I'm assuming Oktoberfest keeps going even if it rains. You're underneath a tent, but I think in the rain it could be even more fun. It's like playing a sport, like playing like baseball or like soccer in the rain. It's like, oh yeah,
I've seen videos from Oktoberfest, and I don't think rain is stopping anybody.
No, definitely not.
All right, well, it's time for Bob Ross to don his Lederhosen and get in on the can art of the whole thing, because one thing everybody cares about at Oktoberfest is art.
Steven, yes? It's bottle art this episode. Get it together.
That is fair, but we're not changing the drop. Here we go.
Can Art and Crafts.
I so wish I had Bob Ross and Lederhosen and a little hat and a little blowhorn. I think that would be adorable and amazing. Okay. Now, we're going to go in order like we always do. Stephen's Karl Strauss. Pretty simple. It just says Oktoberfest, but it's got the blue checkered print. That's classic Oktoberfest. That's extra points. We got Victory with a Das Boot, but it looks like beer is spilling out of the top, out of the sides. It looks great. Big orangey letters. Awesome. Stephen's second beer, the Paulaner logo, which looks like a saint, pretty much. It looks like there are some guys drinking around a table, holding a stein, look like some Alexander Hamilton type deals. But the Paulaner logo, and it looks like it's written on like parchment, old-fashioned parchment paper with like a feather pen, and that's pretty cool. I like that. Oktoberfest.
Just to be clear, I think the logo guy that looks like a saint, I think is supposed to be a friar, like the guy who. And this guy drinking is most definitely a friar. He is Father Lawrence or whatever from Romeo and Juliet. He is a full-on friar of the peace, and that guy looks like George Washington. Okay, go on.
Amazing. So it all ties together. And the Trogues Oktoberfest, I think, is the best artwork out of the four of them. Wow, I really like Trogues this episode. It's very cartoon-like, but it looks like it's drawn. If you're on YouTube and you see this like pole structure, if you look over Stephen's shoulders on Zoom, he's got what those poles look like, and it's exactly correct. And it's just like the decoration of the festival. So Trogues wins the contest for the best artwork. I think if I had to group all of these together, I think I'm just going to give them all 9s. I think they're pretty solid. They're pretty dope. I'm still going to play the drop just because it is Oktoberfest and they deserve to hear it because it's fun. There it is. And I'm excited. Bob Ross is here. He's excited. He loves it. He's already had a couple steins. This dude is wasted. And that's another great addition to Can Arts and Crafts.
Oktoberfest, it's just always a good time. And look, if you're not a beer person or you don't host a craft beer podcast, maybe you're sleeping on Oktoberfest. Maybe you're like, oh yeah, that's that time of year when pretzels
people go
matter.
Drink beer. Like, listen, yeah, it is. And if you go to it, you'll have fun.
It's just, I love these episodes. They're always so fun. There's so much there's just something, it's like everything you love about going to a brewery magnified times 1,000, plus like your country fair, etc. Like it's just it looks so fun. I want to go.
Bring your friends, bring your pets. Don't bring your kids, and let's all grab a giant stein together and see who can hang the longest.
And with that, it's time for possibly one of the greatest stories that's ever made its way onto the hop. It's our last call.
Last call.
Woo!
All right, I'm just going to read the headline.
This puts the Queen's Gambit to shame. Let me just say that.
Chess grandmaster accused of using anal beads to cheat receives offer to clear his name by playing nude. I'm going to repeat that. And I'm going to repeat that because I feel that just reading it is really better than any commentary Gabe and I could offer. So I'm going to read it one more time. If you are driving and you want to pull over and just listen to it, let the words bathe over you. Enjoy the moment. Okay, here we go. Chess grandmaster accused of using anal beads to cheat receives offer to clear his name by playing nude. I mean, that's the best headline.
Honestly, we could probably just go. I don't know what else.
And thank you for coming to the hop. That's gonna do it for. No, I'm kidding. But It's,
well, you played the drop.
I can't make it stop. I can't make it stop. I thought I could. All right, there we go. So, all right, here's what happened. There's a guy. His name is Niemann, something Niemann, Hans Niemann, and he's a chess grandmaster. Now, this story may not even be true. I don't care if it is, to be honest, because the AV Club wrote about it. Well, so he was accused of using signals sent through a wireless anal beads, and somehow using that to cheat his way to success. This comes from the internet, and it's like almost definitely a lie. But I guess that I don't follow chess really. I guess his victory was sort of an upset situation, so people are trying to explain it, and the internet came up with this. But when asked about it, apparently he said, "I will do anything to clear my name, including if they want me to play. If they want me to strip fully naked, I'll do it." And so someone said, "Okay, let's do it." And they offered
some freak person was like, "Yeah, let's do that."
Someone from something called Strip Chat, which I'm assuming is either a porn website or an app. It's a campsite, so both.
Great.
Someone from there wrote, "Strip naked and play a game of chess live in return for up to $1 million." It's a legitimate offer from their website. And
all you have to do is play chess. I mean, I may not win, chess, but I can play.
Play chess as the Lord made you, and you could win $1 million.
In my birthday suit?
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay, well, number one, before anything, anal beads are wireless? What? Who? How did that?
Listen,
what?
You got me. No one told me. I don't know where that was in my health classes. I don't know who. I must have missed a day or called out. I don't know.
The school system has clearly failed us, Stephen. I don't know. They vibrate. They're wireless. Okay, sure. That, no judgment. So, you do you. But
the story basically is, as best I can surmise it, this guy won, beating another world champion at some important tournament. It doesn't matter. None of us follow chess. We don't. You don't. Who cares? The point is, he did admit to cheating when he was 12, and somehow that led to the internet being like, maybe he cheated. A theory offered by a user on Reddit, always the place to go for like top-notch journalism, basically said that he stole a vibrating wireless anal bead system powered by an advanced AI. This is what they're working on. This is what Elon Musk and all them are working on. AI.
Who are we going to the moon? Guys, we're making anal beads. Like, can you leave us alone? Woof. Okay, sorry.
I mean, I don't care if it's true or not. In fact, it's almost definitely not, but it's fucking hilarious. And it's turned into like a viral thing. And this website, Strip Chat, is capitalizing on the situation, and they're offering him $1 million to play Bear.
To let it all hang out, and try to get his king to get your queen. Wait, I don't know how it works.
Where is this going?
I don't really know. I lost my train of thought. Whoa, Gabe. I'm very bad at chess. I do like chess, but if the Queen's Gambit has taught us anything, you quite literally have to be a genius to be a grandmaster. There's different moves. I just figured, you move and then you take somebody. I didn't really look into it. But yeah, if you want to prove he's innocent, let him do it. Let him show the world how it works. They're going to have to, I'm going to say this as delicately as I can. If he plays nude, they have to check him. So that's probably a little uncomfortable, but okay.
Maybe that's why he hasn't accepted the offer yet. He's got his agents working out the parameters of the...
Yeah, how are we going to double check this? Are we going to, you gotta be careful now. This would only happen in the chess world. This wouldn't happen in football or baseball.
No, because for a number of reasons, but I mean... Yeah, that's the kind of thing that people that really follow chess avidly this is what it does to your brain. If you're watching chess on television, and I'm sorry if this is you, but I'm going to say it anyway. Like, if you're watching chess on television, I'm sure that once a day you have a thought going, that guy's cheating using anal beads. I mean, that seems like a next step. You know what I mean? Like,
he's cheating and he stole my anal beads. Roger, please.
Where are those wireless anal beads I was buying? Anal beads using AI? Now I'm curious, and I should have done this research before the show. I just want to go down a rabbit hole of do they exist?
Your computer is going to start sending you, providing you for some weird-ass links. You don't.
Do they exist? Why do they exist? Do they need to exist?
Is it a button that they push? Yeah. And
who's pushing the button? Is it how? What's the distance? What's the range?
Yeah, is it like his coach who's like, oh, okay, move that guy to the left, like. If I hit it 3 times, move it to the left. Like, how do you work that out?
Yeah, I don't even understand how you cheat at chess, to be honest. Like, isn't just a game of like you make a move and they make a move, and until they make a move, you can't. How do you cheat? I don't get it.
I don't either. It's not like you're looking at something. You know, they're not hiding cards.
Unless he was using the anal beads to like magnetically move the player's pieces elsewhere on the board, slide them where he wants them.
Oh my God. Noticing. What is AI up to these days? That's a whole level of physics we don't have time to go into. He's magnetically using anal beads to move. If no one's looking, maybe his king just moves over one spot and I could be like, checkmate.
It's like I could have sworn it wasn't there, but I don't know how it got there. Anal beads. While he's just uncomfortably shifting in his seat, just like.
Yeah, during the entire match was he just like.
He's just moving around.
Somebody was like, "Are you okay?" Yeah, my back hurts. I gotta.
We've done it. We've taken it to a dark place. I mean, this episode
started off so happy. Yeah. Where did it go?
It's honestly got some of the most NSFW content the Hop has ever provided. Other than our licking hole episode, obviously.
I can't wait for my parents to listen to this episode. It's gonna be epic. It's gonna be really great, and they'll probably disown me. They'll probably disown me, but whatever, it's fine.
I'm gonna play the music for real now because we have to go. Oktoberfest is happening now. Get hip to it. If you're not, you got another week or 2. These beers are everywhere. Every brewery you love is introducing an Oktoberfest or having an Oktoberfest event, so get in on it. Gabe and I have to go. We'll be back in 2 weeks.
Yes, we will. If you're going to Oktoberfest in Germany, if you're going to Oktoberfest in New York, if you're going to Oktoberfest in your backyard, enjoy, drink good beer, be safe.
Yes.
Maybe don't jump on a table. Maybe drink in the water and chill. I don't want to be a wet blanket, but we want everyone to be safe, healthy, and happy. We love you guys. Thank you for joining us. Prost. If anyone's got Lederhosen, send us a photo. We will shout you out.
And we'll be back. Thank you for joining us. Happy October, everybody. Here we go.
Woo!